I am Ray, and there's a reason you can't stop worrying. It's not even you. Your mind is getting hijacked by your body. Where's the puppet? Hello, puppet. Let's just think about what worry is in the first place. Worry is ruminating upon the future, trying to predict some bad thing that could happen. So obviously, it's a survival mechanism, trying to predict the future so you don't have to experience something bad. But the problem is, you're experiencing something bad now. Because what happens? Negative thoughts create negative feelings. Negative feelings cause us to act in negative ways. And all of these things recycle to create more negative thoughts, more negative emotions. And here we tap into the root of the problem. Oops, sorry, buddy.
I've had it up to here.
Puppets, what are you going to do? You see, the body speaks the language of feelings. So what happens every time we have a strong feeling about anything? Our body takes a snapshot. It listens, and it says, oh, it's going to log that experience and store it in your body for later, for survival purposes. Because if you think about it, well, for millions of years, we've been being chased by rabid monkeys. So every time you see a rabid monkey, you should be afraid. It's already naturally in us, because our ancestors have been feeling bad about that. We don't have to experience a rabid monkey to be like, oh, stay back. Same thing with like fruit, a nice banana. We've been eating bananas since the beginning of time. So when you see a banana, you're like, it looks tasty. You get a little dopamine spike. And this not only occurs, evolutionarily speaking, but in our life. So for instance, let's say you worry about your children, because a lot of parents worry. Obviously, that's a survival mechanism. You don't want your offspring to get hurt because you love them. Maybe a bit more biological than you think, but it's like if you got a really neurotic parent who's just always worried about everything. They have so much negative memory stored in their body that they can't help but being obnoxious about it. Their whole life is rooted in fear. So what happens? Naturally, you're going to have a biological response of not wanting your children to get hurt. The parental instinct is going to kick in. Do this like this. We can plug in any pattern, but we use this offspring. So what happens is that maybe your children get hurt or something, fall down, hit their face. Then you have a negative reaction. Then the next time they go and do something stupid, you're like, no, don't do it. Because now there's this fear stuck in your body. And if you don't get a handle on it, it just gets worse. And we create a lot of problems for everybody in our life. Let's say you worry about money. It's a big one. A lot of people do it. Ruins their life. There's this practical side of our mind that says, well, yeah, you should worry because if you're broke, why would you not worry? Doesn't make any sense. I'm telling you, you don't need to live like an animal anymore. This is like so 2003. If you want to beat yourself up and motivate yourself like an animal, go ahead. It works. But it's just not very fun. Once you realize the root of the problem, you can change it, and it doesn't take all that much effort. So for instance, what happens is, let's say, you got a big bill in the mail or something like that, and you can't pay it. You feel bad about it. You start ruminating on it, and you're like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Or, you missed your rent a few too many times and you got kicked out of your house. Now you have negative memory stored in your body that's going to force you to worry. It's going to force you to think negatively about things. Whatever it is you've been exposed to, whatever experience. This is messed up, especially with money, is if you work all the time and you're always broke. That doesn't make any sense. There is absolutely no excuse to be broke. The light. Too much light. Here we are. And here's the thing. If you don't change this negative memory stored in the body, your body will continue to hijack your attention and ruin your life. This is the root of all self-sabotage. Because you, as the conscious mind, want to go do something. But if your body doesn't want to do it, you're not doing it. It's like a cowboy and a horse. The conscious mind is the cowboy. And the body is the horse. If you're going on a journey, who's going to win? It depends if the cowboy knows how to train the horse. Otherwise, the horse is just going to do what it wants. And that's how most people are living their life. They're getting pulled around by their feelings, by their instincts. They become a slave to their environment because they don't know how to, get the whip out. Whip the horse. Say, we're going this way. And that's the thing. The moment you get the horse on board with where you're going, it's effortless. But we take all the burden on ourselves as the conscious mind. And that is not how it was meant to be. Because that takes willpower. It takes effort. It takes struggle. And if you're always relying on your conscious mind to do everything, well, it's going to exhaust you to no end. The horse is meant to take all of the burden. All we have to do is get the horse on board. Let's see, what's another example? Health. Health is a good one. You can see this all has to do with survival. It's all about survival. Because your body worries, oh my God, are we going to get sick? Is there going to be a disease coming? So we worry about health. That's supposed to be health, not worry. I'm worried this guy with his chainsaw is going to get me. But I got the sword, so we're all good. That's a battle I'd like to see. You see, we take credit for what the body is doing. It's like, oh, I'm worrying about my health all the time. I'm worrying about money. I'm worrying about my relationships. I'm worrying about my children. It's not you. It's your body hijacking your attention as a survival mechanism. So stop it. Stop taking credit. Just take responsibility for changing, moving forward. So what happens? Maybe you get a health scare. Then you start to ruminate on it. The negative thoughts create negative feelings. The negative feelings store negative memory in your body. Now your body remembers. And so every time you feel a little bit of pain in your heart or something like that, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Because now your body is causing you to hyper-focus on all the things that could contribute to your death. The aliens, they're back. Donald Trump, I need you. Daddy Trump. I'm Mexican, so I can make that joke. You see, all that has happened is that we've had some negative experiences, which have created negative feelings. And that creates the negative memory stored in the body. So all we have to do is stop worrying. Worrying is just a symptom. Fear is just a symptom. We gotta heal the root cause. This is why it's sometimes really difficult to get rid of your negative thoughts. Because you can't just put a band-aid on it and think you're good. It's a deeply rooted problem. And you're not gonna think your way out of it. Because you cannot solve a problem at the same level in which it was created. The problem of worry is created on the mind. Or at least that's the symptom that's going on. We're worrying in our mind. But the root is in our body. And you see, the thing is, the reason that this whole mess even happens in the first place is because of not what happens to us, but our reactions to what happens to us. And this is great news, because we have control over our reactions. We only have control over two things in this life. So just remember, in any given situation, you can either change your conscious thoughts or your conscious actions. That's all. That's all. That's all we can do. Everything else is a distraction. So what do we do in this situation? Well, all we can do is change our thoughts. It's pretty limited options. You see, trauma doesn't happen to us because of what happens to us. Trauma occurs because of how we react to what happens to us. It's a traumatic response, not necessarily a traumatic experience. That doesn't mean something bad didn't happen to you. But there's a whole spectrum of, well, you might have gotten lost in Walmart when you were 3 years old, and that was traumatizing. But your parent was really just like 10 feet away. In that moment, you didn't know it. It's still just as much a traumatic experience as something really, really bad. All that matters is the intensity of the feeling. The stronger the negative feeling, the stronger the traumatic response. Imagine like a vinyl record. The pattern is like the song, it's the memory stored. But the emotion is like the groove that imprints the memory into the body. So, guess what? That's why people say, oh, well, I'm a broken record. They keep repeating the same stories over and over again. The same problems, the same identities, the same beliefs. Why? Because it's not their fault. They can't do anything about it. The memory is stored in their body, it's just coming up. And because we kind of think we have unlimited free will, we think that we're the ones doing it. And everybody sucks. And everybody stays stuck because they don't know how to deal with it. They just don't know this information. But now you do. Which means that you have the ability to change your life however you see fit. We are reprogramming the song on the vinyl disc. But how do we do this? Simple. We just have to speak the language of the feelings. Write a new song. And you'll see the worry begins to go away. But it takes some intention. got to be conscious about it. So, just to keep things simple, I want you to think about one problem in your life that is really bothering you. Something that you can't stop worrying about. Something that you keep struggling with. And get clear on what that pattern is. And if it's kind of too complicated or too complex, break it down a little bit more. Because it's all the same fundamental things. We're either worried about our health, our relationships, money, resources, survival, some kind of instinct. Just be aware. And, well, if you're struggling with it, if it's creating negative consequences in your life, all that means is that you have a negative relationship with that thing. And we have a negative relationship with something because we've had negative emotions, negative experiences with that thing in the past. More negative experiences than positive ones. So, let's get rich. Money is an easy example because everybody seems to be struggling with it. Think about somebody you don't like. If you don't like them, do you want to be around them? No, you don't. So why would money want to be around you if you have a negative relationship with it? What does this mean? It means you feel bad about it. The first thing you think when you think about money is paying bills or something. Or not having enough, being in lack and scarcity. I cannot write and think at the same time, it seems. Yeah, not even right at all. We don't have to fix the problems outside of ourselves. We only have to heal the trauma, the negative memory within. Change the story. So, in this situation, and you just plug and play whatever pattern is right for you. But we're going to use money as an example. So, what do you do? See, do I have any money around here? I don't think so. Every time you expose yourself to this pattern, you don't have to, be so crazy about it. You're naturally going to have experiences with whatever pattern you've chosen. So, when you go to buy groceries, don't just let the automatic programming run its course, because it's going to keep you stuck in a negative relationship. So when you go and buy the groceries, you're going to be looking like, oh man, as this beep, beep, beep. Oh man, it's getting up there. It's getting up there. Man, this is expensive. Eggs, man. Just stop it. Just stop it. Pay attention to what you're doing. You're programming a negative self-identity of the exact same thing you're trying to avoid by worrying about it. If you don't consciously change your thoughts about what you're experiencing, nothing's going to change. So you have to override the automatic programming. The cowboy has to tell the horse, no, we're done with that. We're doing this. Because the cowboy has a logical mind. It's a higher species. The body, the horse just does what it does. It does what it's told to do. And it knows nothing other than what we tell it as the conscious mind. So, the thing is, the body will just listen. It'll accept anything you tell it. It only knows the word yes. And guess what? It doesn't know the difference between what is just a thought or your imagination and what is actually real in the world. So you can tell it anything. You don't have to actually go and experience something in order to reprogram it. You can use your imagination. And if you don't believe me, well, if you ever find yourself daydreaming, you'll see that your body has physical responses. So there's kind of two ways to go about this. I like the natural way where you're just going throughout your daily life. You go, you set the intention to change and you expose yourself to this pattern. So, you're going to buy groceries and you consciously just repeat positive affirmations to yourself. Wow, I'm so grateful that I have all of this money to spend. Look at this, I'm in abundance. Hey body, pay attention, look at all this abundance. You want to get the body to pay attention to what your new desired reality is. And so you work yourself up into a positive state through your positive thoughts. And so the next time what happens? You go to buy groceries and there's a little bit less negative programming. There's a little bit less fear, there's a little bit less anxiety. And then you just do it again and you do it again. And eventually you stop feeling anxious about it altogether. You no longer get automatic negative thoughts, you get automatic positive ones. Because you tell the body, look, we're living in abundance now. Things are great. Things are amazing. So the body says, okay, yeah. So it causes your body, it hijacks your attention in the positive direction to focus on all the things that reaffirm abundance. And that is how you change your life. Not by forcing reality to be exactly the way you want it to be, but just by telling that horse, this is what I want, let's go. And just speaking the language of feelings. Same thing with relationships. Let's say you got a bad relationship with somebody you love. You feel negative about them because you continue to have arguments, you continue to have negative experiences with them. So, every time you're around them, your body's going to get sent into fight or flight. It's going to cause anxiety. You want to start feeling better about the person. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter what's going on. You have to sit by yourself and consciously think positive thoughts about the person. Because if you don't, you're just going to repeat the same programming. So when you go and talk to them, you're going to lash out. Not because it's you, because your body is taking over as a survival response. You're in fight or flight mode. So you either attack them or you run away. I don't want to see you anymore. And this is where people ruin their relationships all the time. They say stupid things and they don't slow down enough to realize they're going to have to face those stupid things later. There's this idea that, well, you can't change another person. And, that's generally good advice for most people. And it's wrong. It's just completely wrong. You can change other people by changing your image of them. Because what happens is that if you have a negative image of them, oh, they're this way, they're always going to be this way, they're a bad person, they did this to me. Every time you interact with that person, you're going to be already prepared for war. You're going to ensure that what you think is true will happen. I see it. I've seen it. You're believing a bad reality into existence through your assumptions. And then people will say, well, this is, logically speaking, this is what the evidence tells me. Well, do you want to be a slave to your environment? Do you want to be a slave to your circumstances? People who live from their senses alone, from what their outer reality is telling them is true, they will always be a slave. When you have the infinite potential of your imagination to change right now. So you have to suspend disbelief. It doesn't matter what you think is true about the other person. You have to change your concept about them because you don't know them anyway. You think you know them, you just have an imaginary idea of who they are. And that's okay. As humans, we're limited, just accept it. But the trap we get caught in is we assume we know other people. This is the way they are. And it's not true. It's an illusion. And you can change your image of anybody simply by changing your thoughts about them. And when you change your thoughts about them, you change your feelings about them. And when you change your feelings about them, you approach them with a completely different energy. So if you have a negative relationship with someone, every time you talk to them, you're going to be prepared to fight. Because your body is already prepping. It remembers. It's like, okay, this person has created problems before. Let's get ready. And that energy you give off, that negative energy, is going to cause the person to react to you negatively. And then you think, oh, I knew it. I knew they were going to act this way. I knew this was going to happen. You created it through your negative assumptions. But when you change your assumptions about somebody, and you can imprint that into your body, not just like a logical thought, but you actually feel different about them, you will approach them with a completely different energy, which is going to create a completely different response. And that is how you can heal any relationship. You literally change the other person by changing your thoughts about them. Why? Because you change your relationship with them to stop being negative, start being positive. And this is true for literally anything. It really is that simple. You just start feeling better about whatever it is that's causing you problems. And you can see why this is difficult for people. Because if you're broke, how are you going to feel better about it? Well, it's all about your attitude. You can either focus on the 99 things going wrong in your life, or you can focus on the one thing going right. And if you focus on the one thing going right, you can expand it to become the 99 things. Otherwise, how are you going to change? If your life sucks, if it's not going the way you want, you got to do something. And the only thing we can do is change our attitude, change our mind, change our thoughts about what is going on. Or we change our actions. But it all leads to the same result regardless. It's all about reprogramming our unconscious mind, the body. It doesn't matter if you go out and grind and struggle for years. It doesn't matter if you're in the manifestation community and you want to just attract, not chase. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. If you grind for years, all it's doing is reprogramming your unconscious mind the hard way, the long way. And if you're in the manifestation community, all it's doing is reprogramming your unconscious mind the easy way, the short way. Because you can do it overnight, or you can do it over 10 years. It's the difference between the effortless path and the path of a lot of effort. So, whatever pattern you worry about, know that there is a negative memory stored in your body about it. If you want to reprogram that song, you have to start feeling better about it. The only way to feel better about it is to change your thoughts about it, to change your attitude, to change your reaction. And this just requires a bit of conscious intention to live a conscious life. So, I want you to write down some affirmations. You can do a long list, but you're going to end up sticking with just a few. What affirmations reaffirm the reality that you want? So, if you have a negative relationship with someone, you want to be able to calm down. Just relax, take a few deep breaths, and you want to repeat positive thoughts about that person. Oh, I love this person. They're so amazing. Even if you don't believe it, doesn't matter. If you persist long enough, you'll start to believe it. This person's so great. I love them. Our relationship is so wonderful. And then you can take it a step further and start imagining your relationship going so perfect, going so well. And if, in this meditative state, you can clearly imagine your desired result, a healthy, positive relationship with that person, maybe you're hugging them, then you can reprogram your unconscious mind to say, oh, things have changed. And you'll see your relationship will change just by changing your thoughts alone. Same thing with money. If you want to get into a meditative state, you kind of just daydream a little bit about money. You have the affirmations ready. You start just thinking, I love being rich. I love having all the money in the world. Money comes so easily. And you just work yourself into a positive state and let your imagination kind of run wild. Oh, look at all these cool things I'm going to buy. And just step by step, day by day, you allow yourself to start feeling better about this. Same thing with health. You get yourself into a meditative state and you start repeating, oh, I'm so healthy. I love my body. This is so amazing. I love being healthy. And you just keep persevering over and over and over again until the body listens. The body, the horse, is trained through habit, through repetition. So you can't just do it once necessarily and expect things to change. If you're a seasoned manifester, then maybe you can. But just practically speaking, it's good advice to just continue the process until things change. So you have, on one level, the meditative practice of just repeating the positive affirmations, doing a little bit of visualization of your desired reality, of that which you want to change. And then also, during your daily life, when you expose yourself to the patterns, you just bring a little bit of awareness with you. So during the day, you're shifting your attitude towards the problem. You repeat positive affirmations as you're experiencing it. And then also, you go within. First thing in the morning and last thing at night, you do the meditative practice. Because in a theta state, which is a meditative state, our brainwaves are slowed down enough in which the portal between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind is open. So the thoughts that you think first thing in the morning and last thing before bed, these are influencing your life the most. So just be conscious about it. You want to change? You can change. And if you really are experiencing some problems, you're going to change because you got a lot of motivation. So if you just repeat the positive affirmations, repeat the meditative practice in the morning and before bed, you're telling your body, this is our new reality. This is our new reality. Not, this will be our new reality in the future. No, it is our reality now. The body only understands the present moment. So if you say, well, yes, maybe one day we'll be a millionaire. Well, it doesn't exist for the body. All that you're telling the body, if you're thinking about the future, is, I don't have what I want now. I don't have what I want now. So the body says, okay, fine. Everything, all of your affirmations have to be present tense. And you don't realize how quickly you can change your life. And you'll see, as you start this practice, you will naturally begin worrying less and less because you've addressed the root of the problem. I am Ray. Break free from negative thoughts forever. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.